WorldCom used to be one of the largest telecommunication companies in the world. First they started out as LDDS, which stands for Long Distance Discount Services. Murray Waldron and William Rector were the founders in 1983. Bernard Ebbers was an early investor who eventually became the CEO of LDDS in 1985. In 1989, LDDS acquired Advantage Companies Incorporated and then merged with Advanced Telecommunications Corporation in 1992. They acquired both Resurgence Communication Group Incorporated as well as Metro Media Communications Corporation in a three-way stock and cash transaction in 1993. They became the fourth largest long-distance network in the U.S., and after acquiring Williams Telecommunication Group for $2.5 billion, they changed their name to WorldCom. WorldCom then merged with MFS Communications Company Incorporated and UUNet Technologies Incorporated in 1996. Then, in 1998, they completed a merger with MCI Communications Group for $40 billion. This became the largest acquisition in history at that time. In 1999, Sprint agreed to merge with WorldCom, but the US and European regulators blocked this merger, which terminated their agreement. On March 11, 2002, the United States Securities and Exchange Commission requested information from WorldCom that related to their accounting procedures and loans to their officers. The SEC found $7.6 billion that were classified as assets when they should have been classified as expenses. CFO Scott Sullivan was the guilty party in the capitalization of their expenses. Sullivan had also taken $45 million in stocks and bonuses. Bernard Ebbers, WorldCom's CEO, issued a promissory note worth $400 million from the board of directors to himself. They found Ebbers guilty of conspiracy, securities fraud, and false filing with regulators in 2005. Investors of WorldCom lost around $180 billion, and WorldCom was charged with fraud by the SEC. All of this caused the Justice Department to hold a criminal investigation of the business practices used by WorldCom. WorldCom had also accumulated $41 billion of debt. Scott Sullivan and Bernard Ebbers, CFO and CEO of WorldCom, were both fired immediately. To continue their business, WorldCom had to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy to relieve them of $2 billion of interest payments. Due to their cash decreasing from $2 billion down to nearly $300 million, WorldCom had to secure new financing loans. There were over 20,000 employees who lost their jobs, and the CEO and CFO of WorldCom were both replaced. So many investors were hurt financially from this scandal. There were 830,000 individuals who WorldCom had to distribute $6 billion to. After the trials, Bernard Ebbers was sentenced to 25 years in prison, and Scott Sullivan was sentenced to just 5 years in prison. Sullivan only had a 5-year sentence because he had testified against Ebbers in court. A few important ethical issues were brought up during the WorldCom scandal. First off, Both the CEO and CFO were taking money from the company illegally and saying that they were bonuses. This is what a lot of upper management gets in trouble with. They lose focus of the goals of the company and think they are entitled to whatever they want. The other ethical issue in this case was the capitalizing of $7.6 billion of expenses. This is to help trick the financial users into thinking the company is doing better than it really is. To resolve this fraud, as I said before, WorldCom had to file for bankruptcy to relieve them of some of their outstanding debts acquired from the fraud. They also received a $2 billion financing package to operate under bankruptcy protection. And like I said before, Ebers and Sullivan were both fired due to their fraudulent activities. For WorldCom, no set code of ethics or code of conduct were put in place by Bernard Ebers. According to Bernard Ebers, he said it was a colossal waste of time putting in a code of ethics. If I worked for WorldCom as their CEO, I would create a code of ethics stating what is ethically and morally wrong. As well, I would include the possible consequences that come with unethical behavior. To be clear on classification purposes, I would state a code for classifying different items on the balance sheet to make employees aware of what they are doing and making sure each item is classified correctly and properly. The case I found that was similar to the scandal of WorldCom was the AIG scandal in 2005. AIG got caught booking loans as revenue to deceive their financial users. They were also caught having traders inflate their stock prices. The similarity between AIG and WorldCom was the misclassification of their book account items. AIG booked long-term debt as revenues, as WorldCom booked expenses as assets. AIG's fraud resulted in a loss of $3.9 billion.